It is no secret that London's canals have been flooded over the last decade, with thousands of people abandoning life on land to become boaters. Since the founding of the Canal and River Trust 9 years ago, the number of continuous cruisers, that is, boaters with no fixed mooring, has almost quadrupled, with 2,178 being reported in 2020 compared to 638 in 2012. Even the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic has failed to quell this wave of popularity. Canal boat sales reached astonishing heights in late 2020, with some letting agents reporting an 880% increase in sales. According to a 2016 survey by the Canal and River Trust, 35% of boaters are under 35. I decided to ask some of these young boaters, known to frequent East London, about their experience of life on the water.
My name's George.
So my name is Hazel.
My name is Emma.
I've been living on a canal boat for 3.5 years.
I bought my boat a year ago now. I grew up in Sweden and I spent a lot of time in the countryside, and living on a boat was sort of more natural to me than living in a flat.
I recently moved onto a canal boat a couple of months ago, and it's something that I decided to do probably after about a year of thinking about it. Got introduced to a mutual friend who lived on a canal boat and sort of visited her boat and had, was like, wow, this is, this seems really cool. Like maybe this is something I could do.
I had an eccentric friend who I met, and we went to see him on his boat at one time. Basically, as soon as I saw it, I just kind of fell in love with it. There's just the whole idea of living on the river. I prefer being around Hackney Wick. So whenever I can, I'm kind of around there, or within a cyclable distance.
I was moored for the third lockdown in Hackney Wick, or in Hackney Marsh. The community that I was in absolutely saved me during the pandemic, and we were like, we were all moored together in Hackney Marshes, and we were a stretch of people who all knew each other. And we were like, okay, well, we're just gonna have to be a household because we all live in tiny, tiny spaces, so we're gonna go insane. So we had a lot of fires and we spent a lot of time together. I made some really, really close friends there. So, it was difficult, but worth it.
A lot of the reasons why I wanted to move on were, things like having a bit more autonomy over my own space, which you can't do in a rental, being a little bit closer to nature. There's definitely a financial aspect to it as well.
More economically, I realized that paying rent was just wasting my money, giving it to somebody else, whereas I didn't have enough money to kind of buy a flat or a house that was going to be any good. So this was kind of like a first step on the ladder.
There's been a lot of media coverage in the past, or in recent years, at least what I've seen come up, that tends to cover the idea of living on a canal boat as a sort of financial stepping stone. I think that only captures like a really small part of the boating community.
I think media that portrays boating in the wrong way, and then you get boaters that don't actually want or should live on a boat in the first place, moving on to them without knowing what they're doing. That's a problem. But a lot of newcomers that move on to boats for the first time, I think they haven't done enough research. They assume it's going to be easier than it is.
Nothing is easy.
You've got to be able to pour your own toilet waste into a Elsan.
There's a lot of maintenance. Repairs can be really expensive.
I think people should get to choose what they want, as long as other people are kept safe along the canals, which isn't always the case.
The advice I would have for someone who would be looking into, maybe moving on to a canal boat or buying one would be to do a lot of research and maybe even sort of go on a holiday on a boat to actually see if it's something you might like.
When you're going to buy, check the survey. So make sure you can get all the paperwork you can. Definitely get insurance.
Join the various, groups online, Facebook groups and forums. The community is really great. I think it's really friendly and supportive.
It's one of the most helpful sort of just large communities of people I've ever come across. No, I wouldn't change anything about the canal life.
Being able to, cruise up the Thames, in your house, it's just something magical about it.